Gonna be a weird day, my friends. I am freezing. How am I cold? It's 72. Like, I'm cold, but if I put a shirt on, like an overshirt, like a long sleeve shirt on, I know I'm gonna be freaking hot. It's gonna be one of those days. Alright. So, we finished our previous project, and we don't have sorry, smoke from the incense burner got in my throat. We don't have any other test pieces done for the next upcoming ones. Now, we don't necessarily have to do test pieces for the upcoming ones, but you know, we certainly can. And I have found that it tends to make things go a little bit easier in my brain if I do. So, this is one we already did. That's something I'm working on slowly off stream. And we did this one, and that was the concept art for the pins for Zorts. So now, the fuck is that? Oh, it's a fuzzy. I don't know where that came from, but alright. So I have my handy dandy trusty Crayola colored pencils here. Because sure, why not? Why not, friends? What else am I gonna use them with? I don't really do colored pencil art, so why not use them for this? Okay, so this, the very next one, since we just finished, we've been following along with Season 3 of The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross's tutorials. We've needle felted instead of painted along with the first 5 episodes. So we are on episode 6 of this season. So Season 3, Episode 6, and Episode 6 is called Covered Bridge. Yes. Sorry? My dyslexia sometimes gets the best of me, and I'll like flip a random letter if I'm not paying really close attention. And even then, sometimes it still happens. And my handwriting is not the greatest, and I don't even know if you guys can read that. It might be a little blurry. So, we're gonna take a quick tab through on this piece, and then start to work out how we want to do things. For starters, it looks like this canvas is laid out in a landscape orientation. So we got that going for us. So since we already know that, oh, my desk is a mess. I just cleaned it too. This is more of a full-on square, but this is also just a test concept because I found with the last two that I did this with, it was much, much easier. To have a test piece to a reference. Just made life a little bit better. Okay. So we've got that going. Alright, so we're not gonna like play. I have the tutorial on mute anyway, but we're not gonna like sit and watch every second of it. We can kind of deduce what's happening here. Alright, so what's he doing? Alizarin crimson and Prussian blue. Wow, really? Holy shit, that's a bold color to start out with. Oh my. But when you mix it in with, is that like almost halfway? That's a little more than a third, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, let me see if I can count the staples. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's about 4 staples down on the edge of the canvas, so that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. If we call it 9, that would be about halfway. It's not quite halfway, but it's effing close. I just don't feel like getting my T-square down right now. So I mean, granted, we can bring this down however far we want to. And if this doesn't look quite right, I mean, I feel like maybe that should be down a little bit further, but if we come down any further, we'll be closer to halfway, and I don't think he's really halfway down, but he's close to halfway. So, our sky. So we have to kind of look at what colors I have available compared to what he's using. So he took alizarin crimson and Prussian blue, right? And those are, Prussian blue is a very strong dark blue, kind of think navy but not quite. And kind of like a ultramarine and black. It's like a dark blue. And then he took the alizarin crimson. So this thing has, like when he first put it on, it was almost like a fuchsia. But then as he started working it into the, see those first couple of strokes there, man. Like that was like scary with how bold that was. But as he went forward, you could see like how the liquid white softened it, and it wasn't quite as bold, and you can see the darker, almost grayish tones in there. That's going to be where the Prussian blue is really shining through. So it kind of feels like a dirty lilac, to be perfectly honest. Or not, maybe not lilac, maybe lavender. So let me take a quick look at the colors of purple I have, because I got several. So I actually think I've got a good color for this sky, vintage heather, and I think that is going to be a good color here. It's hard to see it with the glare, but it looks a little dirty. It looks a little dusty. It's a little soft but bold at the same time. So I think that would be. It's not going to be a dead-on color match. It's not, but I think that's a good jumping off point here for the colors that I have available. I'm starting to be more comfortable with just picking. I mean, I have to get more comfortable with working with what I have. It's not going to match entirely. I mean, the first couple ones we lucked out where the colors were close enough to what I had, but you know, it really wasn't an issue. Oh yeah, I've got the color. But now, as we're getting deeper into this season and he's doing more mixing and things, I'm like, I don't have the color. So I have to get more in the mindset of, okay, what's the closest to that I have? And I think vintage heather is going to be the closest one that I have on hand. And so I'm going to write that down. And now I need to try to find a colored pencil here. It's going to be close enough for us to work with here. So I'm trying to find all of my pinky purples, and I'm pulling out the pinks and the purples, purple barrel colors, I should say, because not all of them. Some of them I can tell are definitely pink. Some of these light pinky barrels are actually more of a purpley color, like the mauve there. So I'm just kind of doing a quick scan through my colors here. Whoop. Stay. And I know, stop, our floors aren't level. Old house, it's gonna happen. And I know some people might be like, well, you already picked out the color, what the hell are you bothering with this next step for? It actually does make it go a little bit faster and a little bit more smooth if I already have it if I've already done it once, basically. Kind of like how Bob did did these paintings multiple times. He did the first one where he worked out, you know, how he was going to do it. And then I think the second one was testing to see if he could get it done within the time slot requirement. And then the third one was the one that he actually did on the air, if I'm understanding it correctly. So the more times you do it, the faster you can do it. Because, you know, it's like, okay, I already know what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with doing this piece. I don't need to guess. I don't need to stop and think about what color I'm going with next, where the next thing is going. So, and then you have a reference that you can work off of in the background that, you know, maybe we're not seeing that reference. Maybe it is off to the side. Okay, so vintage heather. Okay, so that's Orchid for Crayola. That's not a bad match. What is this one? Royal is gonna be, no, much too purple. I know that sounds silly, but right now Blue Violet. Still a little too purple. What is this one? This one is straight up lilac. That's a little too pale, I think. We need some more boldness in this. Oh, this is maroon. This is an actual red. I grabbed a red by mistake. Now what is this one? This one's pale rose. I thought it was mauve. Now see, that one looks more of like a dirty gray to me. Purple heart. Definitely has more of like a periwinkle undertone to me. We've got the bold raspberry. Here we go. Here's mauve. They call it mauvelous. That's a little more pink than purple, but that might be not a bad vintage pink. We've got jazzberry, way too magenta. That's definitely pink. I don't know why I grabbed a brick red. Probably because the core looked. Oh, that was mauvelous. This is mauve itself. I didn't realize we had two. Now the mauve's not bad. I think though this one's still a little on the pink side, so I think we'll go with Orchid, and we'll just get that worked in here. Orchid's probably our best, closest color to the vintage heather. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could take a gray in there to it. If you see wisps of smoke going across the screen, don't panic. I actually have a dragon's blood incense stick. Like an actual incense stick burning instead of the wax melt, because we're not actually working with the fiber today. So I was like, okay, we can light something on fire. And I gotta say, I think that one of these boxes of wax melts I got for Christmas were really old. Unless I really need to put 2 cubes in at once. I was doing 1 cube in at a time into the wax melter, and it was melting, and I could smell it when it wasn't melted. But this set, when it was melted, like, I really had to like put it up to my face to smell it even when it wasn't melted. They were kind of really faint. Like, Russell couldn't smell it, I couldn't smell it. I mean, we might just be stuffy from allergies. That is entirely possible. Alright, this is just mixed media paper, so, and we're not trying to do a fully finished, full-on, pristine showpiece color pencil thingy here. We're just laying down some color, trying to be more comfortable. Although this one's really not, this one doesn't give me the nervousness feeling looking at the finished piece as the last one we did. So, I mean, it's a little different. It's not quite as scary to my brain. The colors, from what I remember, are pretty straightforward. The scariest part about this piece is the fact that it's a covered bridge. He does actually put a bridge in here, but it's not super fancy. It is kind of like the shape of a cabin, just a little bit taller. So I think we'll be okay. Structures and people are not my strong points. People are definitely not my strong points. There's a reason we don't do portraits. Or, you know, making OC characters. My people bodies and faces would look like some kind of nightmare fuel from Picasso, or like that Scream painter whose name escapes me at the moment. It would not be good. It would be, you know, I'm sure there's like 5-year-olds that could draw a better person than me. I've never been good with getting proportions even. I can do one side and it'll look maybe passable, but the next side, forget it. I would have to get one of those like mirror things. I'd either have to like flip it and transfer it, or I'd have to get like one of those plastic dues that you can reflect the image up onto it and then like copy it down over. If I wanted like the eyes to look even somewhat similar. It just doesn't go well. It just doesn't. Alright, I'm not gonna get like super fussed where I think I need to like add in, oh no, we need to add in gray to get the vintage of heather color right. No, that's fine. Alright, I'm gonna make sure that we are writing down all of our colors here for where we're using them. Just kind of separate out that swatching area. Okay, so we kind of got that color worked out. Now, since this is the first one that we're going to be doing after we get done all of our concept pieces, I'm going to be putting the colors for this next project to the side. So that's why I'm going to be getting up and grabbing them. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll advance this. So he's going to start with a 1-inch brush now, and I don't know where we're going with this. Yellow ochre. Yellow ochre and what? Hang on, alright, we're gonna play this just a little bit because we missed a color. Okay, cad yellow and yellow ochre. Ooh. And a little bit of permanent red. Now he mixed the other two colors in there because if he goes straight to just like the yellow on top of the purple, it's gonna like go brown. I'm pretty sure. Hang on. So that was pretty light. So he goes back and he grabs a little bit of green. And see, because he doesn't tell you this, but because he's got those other lighter colors under it, then he comes back in with a little bit thicker on that cad yellow in there, and it didn't change colors. And with the alizarin crimson mixed in with the blue, the yellow didn't turn too green. I mean, you can still tell that it's pretty yellow. So he's got some gaps of purple in there. Why did we do that? Okay, so this is gonna take quite a bit of hang on, I want to see the next part because there's not going to be any purple left. Like, what was the point? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Did he hate the purple that much? He completely covered the purple. There's like only faint hints of purple in between the trees. If you look at it. Or we were never really meant to see the purple, and the purple was really there as the base for the other colors coming in on top of it to kind of soften them a little bit and maybe, you know, just give like a hint of color here and there, but you don't really... Okay, so alright, we're gonna go. That kills me to waste that much fluff. But there might be a little bit poking through the trees, maybe. Alright, so... we have background trees. Excuse me, so we've got kind of like, he wanted... Alright, so let me go grab the colors. So he was saying like cad yellow. And yellow ochre. He had mentioned a little bit of permanent red. And a little bit of sap green. Don't really have a good sap green color. Okay. So, since he took them and mixed them. Ow. Sorry, my hips have been pretty pissy since last night. So, since he kind of just mixed them all together. Orchid. I'm going to put orchid over there. Okay. So I'm gonna back this boy up here. So we can really get a better... Look, we can make paint finish. Alright, so there's actually a little bit of orange in there too, from the red mixing in. Alright, so would probably start out with, yeah, there's definitely orange in there from the red and the yellow mixing together. I don't really have that much in orange. I only have 3 shades, and 2 are like super sherbet pastel, and then I have this one. So I'm thinking we go, actually I need to, well, I don't think we're gonna need that much of the blood orange, but I will definitely need to fluff more of it here. So, alright. There's not a very soft orange in there. Alright, let me see. Oh, I've got that barrel cracked. Alright, that's kind of like my yellowy ochre color. And I know there's probably much better pencil sharpeners, and my art teacher will be having a hissy fit that I'm not using a box knife, but I don't have all day. Wow, that's gonna pop right off of there. Alright, so we've got so we've got some yellow ochre. Well, hang on, let's see. This is kind of, he almost brings it down just about to the bottom of where he trailed off there. And he's actually closer to the edges than I have taken this. Now, we don't have to be completely dead on to his. It's just, you know, just what I'm seeing. So we've got a whole mess of yellow ochre in here. And the yellow ochre is kind of like our base in here. Now, will ours look exactly like Bob's? Hell no. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna. What just touched me? Felt like something touched me. Maybe it was my wire. So, you know, we can do... We don't have to go all the way to the tippy top here. We can have some variation since, you know, we can leave a little bit more of that purple poking through. After we went to all the trouble of putting it in. So, this is going to be our mustard yellow. Okay, so we've gotten that color. We need a orangey color. No, that's peach. Okay. How about you? You are orange. I think it's a circuit. Yeah, that's kind of like an Indian yellow. I can live with that. Alright, so we got this guy. Kind of being a little bit more orangey from like the yellow and the permanent red mixing together. So basically like frost-kissed trees, color-changing trees, kind of, you know, that time of year. So you can just kind of fill in these guys. You don't have to put them in the same exact spots that he's going to. Again, this is just a concept piece, so we can kind of get the idea worked out in our head. Now, there's not that much orange in here. He kind of leaves it over to the one side. He doesn't really seem to come back in with it that much more. We can definitely be a little more abundant with our orange. That's more than fine. I mean, we would be layering it in so that the bottom colors aren't being covered up by the top, so, you know, we would be coming back and forth. Alright, so there's our orange, and we decided that this was going to be our blood orange. I'm just doing little arrows so I know where I put the colors, so it's just a little bit easier to figure out. So okay. Sorry. I wasn't sure what the noise was. The neighbor, grandchild is outside yelling, singing, talking to herself, I don't know. So then we've got, okay, we pulled the mustard yellow to the side. Alright, so then we've got some, we can put these guys away. We've got some cad yellow that we need to work into here. So, this is just straight up yellow. Now, I don't have a cadmium yellow. Something sticky on my pad, damn it. But we've got this just normal, straight up yellow, and that's fine. And the color yarn that I have that's gonna go with this is Buttercup. And I'm using a combination of a little bit of roving if I have the roving color that looks like it's gonna go better, or acrylic yarn. And the yarn brands I currently have in my possession are Big Twist Value, that's what they call it, from Joann's. It's their house brand. Or we also have Paint Box Simply Chunky. So we've got either one of those guys. Now I feel like I've come out too far on the edges here, like to the edges, but he's pretty close to them. We've got a fairly dead-on shot there, so and again, I'm just kind of throwing our yellow in here. Just proof of concept. This doesn't have to be, maybe not proof of concept, but you know, just where my brain's gonna put stuff. I would like to do a quick run through first. A non-perfect run through, just, you know, getting our colors worked in. Figuring out the things and stuff. Alright, so the yellow. Alright, that's gonna be Buttercup. For where stuff is gonna be. Alright, I need to bust open my other pack of where the fuck are they? They're in here somewhere. It's a good thing I got up for that, because I would have never reached them. Crinkles. Clothespins. All of the crinkly juice ever. Okay, so we'll hang that color up. I've got that color off to... I don't know what the hell this is, but it looks sticky. That's annoying. Okay. Alright, so now we need a red. This is red-orange. Eh, good enough. You okay? Mm-hmm. You sure? Uh-huh. Okay. So we'll just work on getting some hints of our red trees in here. We don't want very much on the red trees. He doesn't have very much in there. So we might leave the red just at the very top, maybe near where our orange is going to be. So this is going to be deep red. Okay, and we'll hang this guy up. If I can get the effing please let go. Thank you. Alright. This one's got a shit ton of colors in it already compared to the last one that we did. Alright, and then he added a little bit of sap green. We could go light green like we had been doing. I want to change it up a little bit though. Oh, what do you know? That one is called lime. And just, you know, kind of gives it that like birchy tree just changing over kind of feel. Get a little bit of our, it's gonna be, I think, predominantly a base of yellow ochre in here. And it seems like the higher up the trees, the more orangey reds they are. and the more like yellow ochre shining through. Then as it's coming down, and it seems like it's transitioning a little bit more to yellow with just a kiss of green every so often in there where they haven't all changed over yet. So the yarn color is called lime green. I know it looks like I wrote line, if you can even read it. You might not be able to read it from that distance with the way the camera is focusing. But that could just be the way my screen looks right now. But it's supposed to say lime green. Okay. Now we got quite a handful of colors already. Okay, so then he decides that now we're gonna have some big bold bushes. Big bold bushes Bob. And it kinda... Alright, I'm gonna hit play on this section again, because what did he do? So he took sap green, alizarin crimson, and Van Dyke brown. So he gets like a darky color. Right? So then he starts just kind of doing some large shrubbery or tiny trees, however you want to. I guess they're not that tiny. Oh, that kills me getting rid of all that purple. We'll probably have more purple shining through and through here when we go to do ours. So he kind of frames it out. Now, when he's putting it in, it's kind of mixing with the magic white and then the purple and then the yellows in there. And it's kind of becoming more of like an olive green, depending on what shade is coming through on the brush. Oy. What the fuck am I gonna do with this? I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with that. What are you doing, Bob? I don't know what green I'm gonna use for that. It's like a dirty olive. And I don't have a dirty olive. So I'm trying to like run through my brain. What the fuck are we gonna put in here? Okay, so we're definitely putting in some tree trunks and some sticky dews. And that's fine. I'm kind of just more interested to see what he's doing on top of these. Okay, so then he's coming back in with like more of like the yellow ochre. Kinda. So this would be more of like a closer up version of those yellowy trees in the background, basically. Okay. So we gotta find a green that we can use for this. think we're gonna have to go with hunter green here. And I know that's a very bold move. And probably not the best move that we can go with, but I don't really have this color that he's showing. So we're just gonna have to make a decision and go with it. Yeah, like I really don't have an olive, and that's really what I would prefer to have for this. I just don't have one. I think I tried to get like a celery, although that's a little bit light. A lot of the green colors that I would have liked to have gotten were out of stock when I did my order. Shit. No, that's jade according to Crayola. I don't really think that looks like jade. Maybe it does. Alright, what are you? Pine green. That's probably closer to our varsity green, but I'll leave you out as an option. Ash. There's gotta be a hunter green in here somewhere. That's just green. Not you. Oh, wait, what are you? Oh no, you're that olive. Really? We don't have a hunter green? Alright. Pine green it is. Okay, so this is awfully blue on top of our purple here. Alright, let me advance the tutorial. Actually, let's go back. Let's go back, Jack. Alright. So he kind of brings this over and kind of covers up the edges here. And he's got this really fluffy, kind of big, bold, ovally guy right up in here, and it kind of comes down a little bit. He's got a little bit of a break between the two, and we've got kind of a not really awkward, but kind of like a cone, rounded cone doodle going on in here. And then he's kind of got this coming down. Keep it coming, keep it coming. So it's kind of just this like greeny blobby mess all in here. And I'm just doing some quick circly guys just to kind of get this mixed in here. Not really mixed in, but you know, getting the color down. Alright. Sorry, just making sure my microphone wire was actually connected. So then we got this coming into here. And same thing with this side. He's just kind of got this as a bit of a mess to do here. We're just kind of in here a bit. And just kind of keeps coming down a little. Now towards the middle he's got kind of like a white section here. Where he doesn't have much happening. Now I'm probably leaving a little more sky in there than he did, because I want a little more sky showing after we did all of that hard work on the sky. Damn it. Again, he's only kind of giving us a guideline on stuff that we can do and how to do it, so ours can be what we want it to be. If I really wanted to, we could have made the sky blue instead of purple. We could have made these trees purple instead of yellow. I mean, it really just comes down to how we want it to be. Alright, so we've got a little bit of grass coming past our sky horizon thingy and down into here. Don't know where we're going with that yet, but we'll get it put in. Alright, so in here he's kind of got this, like, might be a little too far, maybe to here. He's kind of bringing, and that still might be too far. We'll figure it out as we get there. It's not quite as low over here, right? Again, this is just me messing around, seeing what might work and what might not work. This is not a finished piece by any stretch of the imagination. We are just doing a planning day. I am not a colored pencil artist. Never claimed to be. We're just kind of working on some thumbnail, not really, it's a little larger than a thumbnail, but you know, just working on ideas. Okay, so I'm gonna call these middle trees. Alright, so we're gonna go Hunter Green. And I'm putting the name of the yarn I'm gonna be using, not the name of the pencil. So we've got a Hunter Green background on those guys. Then we need a brown, a dark brown. You want beaver, or that's a gray. We'll just go with beaver. Beaver should be close enough. For our purposes here. Okay. So as we advance this, he's going to start to put some stickids in. Alright, so we've got like a tree trunk in here, kind of coming down. It was pretty windy today. He's got like a Trunky guy in here. It's got some sticky doos in here. Got a big old solid trunk over here. I'm not sure if he branched that off from where I'm at. Did he? Oh, he kind of branched it off down here just a little bit. And then like over in here, he's got like another tree trunky guy. He doesn't have very many stickets happening here, so alright, so it was hunter green. We're gonna go chocolate brown because that's the color that I have with my black. That's why I can't grab it. Put it on the wrong side. I'm like, that doesn't look right. Because that's the name of the brown color that we're going to be putting in here on the trunks. Now, he looks like he took like some white to highlight those tree trunks, but he's got a little bit of the that brown color mixed in. Oh, I know that says khaki, but that seems more like an apricot to me. Alright, we'll use antique brass. Does he highlight the other side of the trees, or does he just highlight that one? Very, very faintly. We're gonna use a little bit of camel to highlight that ever so slightly, so so my messy ass handwriting doesn't get too lost into itself. I'm gonna go light caramel. Oh, you know what? I think I want light caramel instead. We're gonna go light caramel. We can more than change our minds, because this is a concept piece that we are working on. Alright, so let me hang that up. I forgot to grab the brown. We have so many colors of fluff hanging up that we're not even going to use that many of. Or that much of, but what can you do? Okay. So then he's gonna come back in and he's gonna highlight the trees, right? So he's gonna use the yellow ochre again to highlight the majority of these guys. Okay, so it's kind of gonna be like a mix of yellow ochre and like kind of our trees that we put in here. So definitely yellow ochre here, definitely yellow ochre here. And there was some wispy guys in here. And this one was definitely yellow ochre in there. Now this guy on the far end kind of feels like a little more of our like light green lime color, where he hasn't quite turned yet. I know it's really hard to see these all mixing together because I'm doing a terrible job. And I'm going super fast. So like some of these will be like a combination of the yellow ochre. So basically we're going to be doing a little bit of the yellow ochre, our light green, or lime green, or you could go with light green, whichever. And our cad yellow and around in here, and then there's definitely some yellow ochre things happening down in here. Some grasses and stuff. Not quite sure how we're gonna put that in yet, and there's definitely some cad yellow hanging in with all of that in there. Towards the middle's a little bit more of just, man, we're gonna use a lot of that mustard color on this one. I'm probably gonna have to fluff some more mustard before we finish this piece, more than likely. And then same thing over here. Got some more yellow ochre kind of mixing in through there. So we'll just continue this in. We're using mustard. Lime green and the buttercup. Okay, I'm just gonna go MY for mustard yellow, BC for buttercup, and LG for the lime green, because I don't have a whole lot of righty space in there. Alright, so now what are we doing, Bob? Okay, so he's gonna put a road in. Bold. Very bold to start out with. Okay, so that would be our chocolate brown. So he actually did kind of fill that in with some trees and stuff back in here. Alright, so his road kind of curves around. to like here, right? Again, this is gonna be sloppy. We're not going for a final finished piece. This is just to kind of wrap the head around the shapes and placement of, so that means that this is actually gonna be a little bit more filled in up to the edge of this. Whoop, because I wasn't really sure how filled in we were here. Okay, so we got that, more of our yellow ochre stuff coming in. Pretty heavy on the ochre and the cad yellow in these areas. That's fine. Okay, now we've got our little bit of a roadie-doo in here. Alright, so it's gonna be our chocolate brown again. Okay, so let's see where we're at. Okay, so he comes back in and highlights it almost with like a grayish brown kind of feel. It's probably just the white mixing with the basic. We'll do our taupe color to highlight that. Let's see what I have for a taupey color. It's kind of dark, it's kind of light. Do I need to get him? Ash. You know what? We'll just go straight up gray. So he kind of lays that in there. Gonna put in our taupe. So CB for chocolate brown and taupe. Okay. So let's hang the taupe color up. Because this is the one that we're probably going to be starting tomorrow. So I have my colors already pulled out, so we're good to go. Okay, so he's gonna highlight that. He sits it down, so he's got some more like grassy doozy, and it'll be easier to put that in once we get there, I think. I don't know, this is a whole lot of stuff here. Alright, so Okay, then he's coming back in. I wish I had that olive green. That would work so much better in the background. Alright, so he's coming back in with another dark green, and we're gonna have to just go with our same hunter green, because that's what we got. That's my darkest green. My next darkest green is vintage green, or no, not vintage green, varsity green. And the varsity green's more like a brighter green. It's not quite as dark toned. Alright, so we've got like here, and we're leaving a little bit of room in here. Alright, so we've got this coming in again. Alright, well maybe now I'm not as confident on this one now that we're like picking it apart and I'm trying to figure out, okay, so how are we gonna felt this? Not feeling as confident as I was. But you know, I was also like looking at the finished piece. I'm like, oh yeah, that should be fine. Doesn't really look that bad. And then, you know, when you start picking it apart, it's like, oh. Right. So it's kind of why I'm starting to like doing these first runs on paper. Just so I can work out how I would change it or how I actually want to do it. Okay. Yeah, it's not really middle, so middle front maybe? Green here. HG for hunter. Green. Okay. Okay, so he's gonna work out where the buildings... Oh, he did kind of leave that empty. So kind of in our empty slot, right? Is kind of gonna be where our shape sits. So let's grab our beaver brown. So this is about where the yeah, maybe. All right. And then he's kind of got this coming down to the base of the grass here, so now when we go to put this guy in, we'll try to be as straight as we can, but can't make any promises about that. So it looks like the roof might edge over a little bit. Okay, so yes, we're gonna have the dark roof edges here. Yeah, so we'll thicken that guy up. No, no ads. Okay, so straight across. Oh, that's bold. That's very bold. Okay, so alright, so the edges of the roof are going to overhang a bit. Alright, so then we're gonna work on getting this guy colored in and bringing that down. And we can see a little bit of that. This feels, oh, you know what? This should be lower. He does have all of that sky kind of covered up back there. Okay, so got that. Okay, and then he kind of brings this I won't say it's really curved. But maybe ever so slightly curved. It's pretty. It's like a subtle curve. Alright. Oh, hold on. He didn't fill that in yet, so we have the bridge. That's gonna be the, I'm gonna have to fluff some more chocolate brown too. Chocolate brown. Bridge road. Chocolate brown. Okay, so I'm running out of room to write this, so we're gonna have lines coming across. So CB for chocolate brown. Okay, so he fills this is black. Yes, so he fills all this in. Now when we go to do it, we'll probably be going across just so we can try to keep our lines straight from the edge of the bridge. All right. Again, just proof of concepts, working it out in the brain. Can we try to make this work? All right. So he does that. What's he doing? For fuck's sake. Alright, so with that light, caramel color, we'll use that. So, right, not on the very edge, but like right above it. And it's only gonna come to the one side, right? And so, light caramel. My mind, there should be cat food in the kitchen. LC for light caramel, and then we have to figure out what we're gonna highlight the bridge structure with itself. Probably probably like the taupe and I have a coffee bean. Oh, coffee beans too. You know what? We'll go with fudge. We'll go with soft fudge. It's not as light as the camel, but it's definitely lighter than the coffee bean. And soft fudge. Okay. Alright, so bridge. Okay, so let's hang this color up. Oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 colors hanging up so far. This is why I went with the yarn instead of roving. Okay, so he's just kind of like cleaning up the edges. Okay. Then he's back in with the sap green. So he's trying to make sure that this is really dark in here. So definitely the hunter green on this one. Right? Most definitely. Then he's talking about this sap green. So it's still kind of dark, but not quite. So I have two possible colors that we could use for this. And that could be either the grass green or the varsity green. Because you can tell the difference between the varsity green and the hunter green, very much so. Those definitely are different shades of green. And we still want it a little bit dark, so maybe we'll go with the varsity green here. Right, so this is just straight up green, and then he's kind of got that coming forward. So we'll fill in with the other green come in through here. And we'll just fill in that section. I don't know where we're going with it yet. I did not fully watch this ahead of time. If I did, it was some time ago and I don't really remember. Alright, so where's our black? Alright, so foreground, or you know what, we'll just call it front ground. No, it's supposed to be foreground, but this is just my notes. And it doesn't have to be precise terminology for my notes. Doesn't matter. So it's going to be varsity green. And I know you're like, well, if you already figured out the colors, then why the hell are you going with the colored drawing? Well, that's so that I can pick out a colored pencil that's close to my fluff and put it down, so I can kind of get a visual in my head of what it's going to look like with my fluff colors ahead of time, so I know what to expect to see how this is going to go in case I want to change a color now. It's a lot easier to change it now in the planning stage than when we get halfway through and I'm like, oh, well, this isn't working. And then to have to change the color, then that would require coming back in and going over all of it with the new color. It's just easier for me to do it this way. Okay, so this is VG is going to be varsity green on that section. Alright, like I said, this is just getting the idea down for when we start working on this guy. This one we're going to probably start tomorrow. Okay, so he's got this highlighted a little bit, and it kind of looks like the highlight's going to be... I didn't grab a soft fudge color. I guess we should here. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so the inside's dark, obviously, because it's in shadow, but when we come out, he's got some chunks of this lighter brown in the road, just kind of chilling out, and so we can do a combination of what did I use this color for? Oh, that might have been the light caramel. This was the taupe color I was using. We'll do a combination of the taupe on the darker side and the light brown on the soft fudge side. The lighter side, soft fudge. Taupe. And doing this now helps me remember what I wanted to do for this when we get down to it, because we all know my decision making on the moment's not the greatest, so that's why we're taking the time to do this, even if we only get one fully done. That's okay. Alright, so we've got some sticky doos. I need to leave this one out because we're writing with that one. So we'll come back in. This is beaver, but it would be the chocolate brown that we have. We've got some sticky doos up in here. Oh, they're like kind of like cattaily doos. Or something is what it looks like. Excuse me. I wasn't expecting the closed captioning to say that. That's a nice one. Bloop put a little fuzzy thing. Okay. Sure. Bob, you're speaking my language. The little fuzzy doos and the bloops. We got this. So it's kind of in shadow, so that's kind of why that's there. So the middle front ground, chocolate. From there. Okay. And then it looks like he's gonna come back in with the light green in this section. So we were using lime for this. We might want to switch over to the light green for here, just because this is a little bold for where we're at. Not that one. There. You. Palm leaf. You're close enough. Alright, so varsity green. We didn't hang up varsity green. And we're gonna need to grab the light green too. So we'll grab an extra clothespin. We'll hang up the varsity green. I have a curtain on this like bar hanging up from the ceiling that I can kind of pull across and enclose my little work area if I need to. So I just kind of have these all hanging up in there. I kind of hate to bring in a new color this close to the end, but it's gonna be really hard to see this on the dark colored pencil. But basically just kind of working in some stuff, and we'll probably do the light green in maybe little wispy bits. We might mix in a little bit of the cad yellow in here too. So front grass is gonna be, or the front ground, so we've got some varsity green, we've got some light green. Cats, what are we doing? Can we like behave, please? So it's gonna be LG for light green. Maybe buttercup. Maybe just a skosh. Buttercup's kind of like my my cad yellow color. Alright, so we did the one side. And then he kind of comes, so maybe not the cad yellow, maybe a little bit of like the yellow ochre. A little bit. So then we've kind of got this kind of sitting in here, which gives us these two dark stripey guys on the back side here. So I'm just gonna kind of real quick, just kind of scribble in some of that. I mean, we could go with a little bit of the cad in there, just a little touchy too. And what's our yellow ochre looking like here? We could add just a little bit of that just to kind of bring that top color back into the bottom again. That could be nice. Alright, so where's my, there it is. Alright, so and maybe some mustard yellow. So where were we? So varsity green, the light green, maybe some buttercup, and maybe some mustard yellow, just to kind of bring all of our colors back in together. That will hang or light green. Okay. So he's getting closer to being done this one. Should have known, Bob. Should have known. Big bold tree, Bob. Alright, so he's gonna drop... Where did he put this? There. Okay. So... maybe... That's a thick boy, too. So he's got a bit of a foot on him. Alright. How far up to... Oh, he goes all the way. We're not dicking around with this one. Oh, no. He is pretty... pretty solidly in there, huh? Just making sure I had the right color here. Alright, so... big bold guy. I've got mine leaning a little bit. That's fine. Would it be a Nisey creation without something being crooked? Probably not. Probably not. Alright, so we got that guy in there. Okay, so CB for chocolate brown. Front tree. Alright. What do we got now, Bob? What are you doing to me now? Oh, we got arms. Oh, we've got all kinds of arms here. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we've got one arm. That's kind of a skinny arm. Do you go... Oh, you go all the way to the edge. All the way to the edge. Okay, maybe we want that tree a little bit straighter. Alright, then we've got... pretty near the top from where we're at. This is gonna be coming out this way, almost to maybe there-ish. Need to sharpen the pencil. I feel like we worked through the other ones a little bit faster. We were working on them before. Alright, so we've got one kind of like pointing up to the top there. There's something like sticking up here that kind of feels like it's coming down from the wrong direction, honestly, but... And then we've got kind of where this Y is off, got a little guy coming down this, except you're much taller, so maybe this shouldn't be that tall. And this guy's got one coming down through here. Okay. Basic shape. Okay, so we're gonna say that that's probably like a light fudge highlight on this guy. Gonna be kind of hard to see. So, or soft fudge. There's no N in fudge. What are you doing? Brain. What the fuck? Could we not? Okay. Does anybody else just add letters to words? My brain's like, oh, fundage. No. No. Just no. Oh. Oh. Really? I did not see that coming. Okay. Okay. So, like, here-ish? And, like, man, he's getting all kinds of perspective on us here, on this guy. Alright, so, we've got... I'm probably a little too far away on that, but... Okay. Alright, so fence is gonna be chocolate brown. All these arrows all over. Oh! Oh! Bob! What? What are you doing, Bob? You just have a post there with nothing. Okay. Sure. Maybe it fell down? I don't know. So, leaves on this guy, I don't fucking know. They look kind of dark. I guess we'll come back in with our hunter green. Maybe. He definitely has a good bit of trunk exposed on these guys. Oh, we've got some of that there, and then some of that there. So front tree. Hunter green. I'm running out of room to write, Bob. How much more are we packing into this sucker? It looks like cat yellow. It does. It's very yellow. You know what? Let's go with the light green. Maybe we'll go light green and cad yellow, because just the cad yellow in there is going to be a little much. I think by itself. Alright, so light green and buttercup. And it's slightly different than the lime green that we used elsewhere. And then he just brings that up at the bottom there. Okay, and then he signs it. Alright, so we kind of have an idea. This one's very green-ish yellow. He leaves this dark stripey thing in the background. I think that's supposed to be shadowed. Maybe we can get it to work for us. I don't know. We might have to mix a little bit of the varsity green in with the dark green just to make it not quite so striped. Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll figure that one out. Okay, so that was Season 3, Episode 6 for Covered Bridge. These stupid weight loss powder protein bullshit. Okay, hold on. So that's that one. So the next one, oh, this thing is filthy, I need to wash it. Okay, so that was all of those colors. Okay, so the next one, I think we have time to at least start to get some kind of concept on. So this is Season 3, Episode 7. And this one is Quiet Inlet. Alright, so Quiet Inlet. Alright, so this is going to be another landscape laid out one. So again, we're just kind of planning out the next couple of needle felting projects here. Trying to work out what colors I want to do. These aren't going to be like finished done pieces because I'm using colored pencils, which I'm not a colored pencil artist. I'm not knocking those that are. I'm not one of them, so. And we're not really taking the time to properly layer colors. We're just kind of plopping them in and seeing where things fall. And that sort of stuff. So I know it's not that exciting of a stream that we got going here. But we're gonna see, we're just kind of doing some quick advances through the tutorial. What color was that? What happened to my CC? It turned off. Okay, so he did like phthalo green. Okay, so our sky is gonna be about not quite halfway as usual. Close to halfway, but not quite. Not quite. It's more than a third, though. Definitely more than a third. We're flirting with the halfway line. We're almost there. Okay, so sky. So my yarn colors that I have for sky, we're probably gonna go with, I'm thinking like a cornflower blue. Let me go double check what I've got. So I do have a sky blue, and it's okay. It's really light, like really light, but this seems a little more bold. So I think we'll probably go with like a sky blue, the cornflower blue, excuse me. Oh, my hair's falling out everywhere. Okay, so we'll go cornflower blue. We'll go with this color, I think. Oh, that is actually called cornflower in the Crayola one. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, he's gonna have some white bits. Now, the bottom, we've got this little bit of space in here, right? He's about halfway over. About. Kinda. It's real subtle. So we've kind of got faint white shape over here. Actually, we don't have that much. That much land here. But it's Bob, and this could change drastically. Alright, so something like that is what it looks like we're kind of dealing with shape-wise. So I just want to advance this a little bit. Just a little bit. I want to see what he's doing. Okay, so he didn't really do any like major clouds yet. So sky is going to be cornflower, and we're going to have some, we're going to put some white in there too. Just some like wispy white clouds. And I'm gonna put clouds in there so I know what I'm doing. Alright, so there's gonna be like some breaks that are a little bit lighter. And who's to say we don't actually have some wispiness happening in here. I mean, it doesn't have to be super subtle. I would put the actual sky blue in those spots, but it might be a little busy for what comes next. So we'll just kind of work in our sky color here. Go real faint here. Well, not super faint, but you know, it's not going to be perfectly colored in. So like I said, we're just kind of working on getting some color down and how we want this to be. I didn't want this to go too busy here. We're gonna have some other stuff coming in around it, so just go real light on there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, then alright, so sky. We've got cornflower and white clouds. Okay. Now down here, he's putting in some water already. I think we might go with sea foam. It really looks like more of like an aqua, because he mixes a little bit of that cornflowery color with with the phthalo green. And right now I don't know, do we want to go like really bright, bold aqua? Or do we want to go with like the sea foam? You know, maybe we should just go bold. And just go with the aqua. That might be, because I don't want to go too light. To start this out with. So yeah, A, Q, U, A. Right? So do we have the right color though? That's the next thing. That might be the closest that I've got. Alright, let's see what these colors do for me here. Where are we gonna swatch? I guess we can swatch in the margin. Oh no, not that color. I'd say that's more of like that jewel color that I have. Alright, this one's turquoise, and this one's actually aqua green. You're tropical rainforest. No, not you. And you are straight up teal. That's a little dark. Alright, so I think we'll actually use this aqua green here to get us started. It's kind of a mix between this cornflower and a little bit of the phthalo green. Now I could, in theory, slap the cornflower down in here and then take the aqua and make it wispy over top of it. We can do that. Just to kind of give it a little bit more of a two-toned feel. We could do that. Just to try to keep a bit more of the blue characteristic from the sky bleeding down in. That is possible. It's not gonna like blend like paint, so it's not like it's gonna turn into a brand new color. But we could overlay the two a bit. That is possible. Just to kind of mix it up. We could do that. That might marry those two a bit better. So we could go cornflower there too. I'm just gonna go CF for short down here. Okay, So we won't use the seafoam there. Alright, what else you got for me, Bob? Okay, so that's a bold color. We've got a purple mountain. Oh, that's taking up like the whole thing. Okay. Okay, so the back one's a little bit brighter. What are we doing, Bob? You're in green now. Okay. So let's back up. Back that up. Alright, so we've got like a sharky fin dinosaur's back mountain here. So it's kind of coming down into here, and that's kind of coming out this way. And then that's kind of, oh, they just look like shark fins. I don't know, or like a bumpy dinosaur back. And then that kind of like just sort of goes off that way. I feel like I'm a little low on that one, and I might be. But then there's another one. Not quite as bumpy. It's kind of like bumpy in its own right, and I'm sure when I go to put this guy in later, it will not look the same level of bumpy. Okay, because we still have this space here, so we're still kind of in the blue section. This is probably supposed to be a little bit taller. Alright, so the one's a little bit lighter than the other, but it still has that like dark, bold shadow line ridge on there. So here's what I'm thinking. So, sorry, I had to get up and look at my yarn options. So I'm thinking like dark aubergine. Aubergine. It's a tough word for me to say. For our ridge, our top ridge lines on both of them, right? But I'm thinking like pale lilac for the back one, because it's very light. It's supposed to indicate that it's further away, but we still have that hard line cut at the top. Thinking those two. Now this bottom one, I still want to go with this dark color, but it's a little bit lighter. I mean, well, it's a little bit darker, but it's not as dark as this. So I'm thinking pansy, right? For the next one down. So there's still a distinct difference between the colors. But it's darker. Okay. Yeah, let me put these other colors back up real quick here because I'm making a mess. Right back there, guys. I'm coming. These are probably not going to be in the same color order that they were in. And that's okay. They don't necessarily have to be. I've got like 4 strings segments running on my wall with different, with all the fluff I have pre-fluffed. I should really take a picture of it sometimes. Alright, so back mountain, far mountain, we'll call it far mountain. Okay, so dark. Aubergine. Line. Pale. Lilac. Fill. Okay, so now I need to stay. Stay? Sir? Oh, now the trouble of finding. What is this? Well, this is lilac. Perfect. That's blue. It's ash. There we go. Purple heart. What does this say? Violet. That's kind of blue. What are you? You are Purple Mountain Majesty. And still kind of bright. Alright. Royal purple. And my chair is squeaking now. Great. Blue violet. Now see, the blue violet looks more purple than blue, and the royal purple doesn't seem very dark. Royal purple seems more like pansy to me. What are you? You're navy. Ash. Brown. You're brown. Alright, we might not... What are you? You're that orchid. Yeah. Okay. Don't have a whole lot of purple color choices here. And even then, I didn't pull out enough purples. I don't have that many purple options here. Okay. So Far Mountain. Okay, I guess we'll go... We'll just have to make it dark to get the point across to my brain of how we wanted to do this. Okay. That should be fine. Alright. Some of these colors I don't think I've ever touched. Alright. So, back one's gonna be like our pale lilac. Alright, so we'll get that worked into here. real super quick. Alright, and then what color did I say this was? Yeah, this is that royal purple that looked more like the pansy color that I want to use. But it's definitely a sharp, stark contrast between the two, right? And then the one below it has it again with this distinct darker ridge line here. We'll just do a light fill in. So this one, there's still a little bit of a space there. I'm probably going to move this line up just a skosh when we get to actually doing this one with the fluff. See, this is another reason why I try to put it out on paper first now, because it helps me with where shit should be sitting. And if I mess up on this, then this is just sketchbook paper, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so middle mountain, front mountain, do front mountain. Front mountain is the dark aubergine line. Pansy fill. Okay, so we're gonna do DA for dark aubergine. This should be pale lilac fill. And pansy purple fill. Okay. Alright, Bob. What do you got next for us? Trees. Okay. So he's got a tree line coming in. Okay. So for the tree line's kind of like from here-ish, maybe here-ish, to kind of like down to the edge of the water, kinda, except in here, it's gonna cut off and kind of keep going straight, and maybe to about here-ish. So, back tree line, I guess we'll call this. Alright, and, I don't know, that kind of looks like just the light green in there. We could go a combo of like hunter and light green if we really wanted to, but I think that's gonna be like our light green color that we've already pulled out. That's, yeah. I mean, we could go the lime if we really wanted, but I think that's kind of similar to our light green color. So, Okay. Alright, let's see here. Technically the lime green shade, but that should be fine. You can always feel when you haven't sharpened a pencil before, or at least I can. It's a different kind of resistance to it. Alright, so kind of gonna be like our foothill trees like we did a lot of in the last piece here. So this one we're gonna do quite a bit of, you know, we'll vary our heights a bit. We'll have some tall ones here. Like, we just want to at least make sure that the shortest one is at the base of where that the shortest one is as high as the base of the purple, right? So we don't have like this weird blank spot area. You guys get what I mean. Now, he did bring just the faintest bit of reflection down into here, and he's left some gaps like down towards the bottom, so we might actually have to fill in whatever color this ground is going to be all the way around into here, just to kind of, you know, avoid any gappy things happening without this looking like a huge blob of color. He's been very big into the foothill trees here lately, so this is kind of, at least in this season so far, kind of covering up all of this down in here. Okay, we get the idea. Alright, so that's gonna be LG for light green. Okay, what do we got next, Bob? Okay, so we've got some... Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Eeh. Okay, so we've got I should have just left those colors out. That's what I should have done. They can't be that terribly mixed in, can they? It's hard to read the colors through the bag sometimes with the glare. Right. So our hunter green color. Alright, so our hunter green color, we've got a tree guy kind of hanging out in here, or a shrubbery, a short tree or a shrubbery. He's got a friend kind of right in here. And then we've got some of this kind of hanging out into here. And then the water is about here we got another guy. Just kind of hanging out here, and then you've got another friend, maybe about here-ish. Again, real just rough. Alright, so then in here, it's kind of like a bit of a brown. It's not super dark, though. Just got a little bit of our green color here, so I'm shedding everywhere. So middle tree, mid tree line, we're gonna go hunter green. And then, you know, it's not as dark and bold as the chocolate brown. My coffee bean is kind of similar to the chocolate color, but it's definitely in there. I almost want to give this like a soft, like make this be like the soft fudge, or maybe the taupe. You know, I think we'll give this like that taupey color. So we've got that color down on, I think this is the color we were using for the taupe. No. Taupe's got a little bit more gray to it, but I also don't want to sit here for 25 minutes trying to find the perfect shade when this is just kind of like concept. So we'll have some taupe, mixing it in with our green here, and then kind of like coming down into the edge of the water. And then he kind of like lightens it out. So I don't know if this is going to be like a lighter cream down in here or what, but we've got a little bit of the taupey color. Alright, moving on, Bob. Oh boy. Should have known. Big ass gap. Should have known. Why are we even surprised anymore? Why are we? Alright, so this is a biggin. This is definitely a biggin. So we'll get that guy put in there. Kind of flares out a little bit more in there. Again, for those that are just popping in, I'm just kind of trying to put the idea down before we start to use the fluff, just so I can figure out where placement's gonna be. Alright, and then he kind of has another little, it's just kind of like comes off the edge here and just barely reconnects back in here. Just trying to work out what colors of fluff I want to use compared to what he's using. You know, do I have something similar? Do I need to make a change? If I'm going to make a change, I need to make that now. and find a similar shaded pencil just so I can kind of see what the colors are going to look like together. These are just my lines coming off of what color I'm putting where, just to help my brain kind of stay straight here. So we've got like this green line kind of coming like down into here, kinda. Not exactly, but kind of. It's definitely not like completely straight across. Alright, so we've got that worked in. I'm gonna still consider this the mid-tree line. And then kind of seems like there's a little bit more of our taupey color coming on up into here. Okay. So let's see, where are we at, Bob? Oh, we're mixing a color. Okay, we might be changing that then. Alright. I think we might go with soft fudge after all. Actually, I didn't really need to cross out taupe, because we're still gonna be using that. So where's my... Because when he must have like brown mixed in with the sap green or whatever, or he dipped into the Van Dyke brown. Because when the Van Dyke brown and the white kind of hit each other, they kind of become this like grayed out brown. So if we do soft fudge into here, and then he kind of like comes back and highlights it in the soft, he mixed straight Van Dyke brown with the, I guess, some white, but it has more of like a gray undertone to me, where he's like kind of highlighting some sand areas in here. Okay, so I mean it is more of like a gray, but we can do the taupe and get the darker version in. I know this isn't entirely the right color coming in here, but okay, so actually this is like more up into here, because there's a bit more beach here. And then it's coming down into like the soft fudge. Alright, and then he's got I don't know where Beaver is, so we'll go with dark brown. And then there's some of the like Van Dyke brown coming straight up to the base of our trees, or just like some dirt visible through the grass. Alright, so that's gonna be chocolate brown. The taupe is gonna be in there. Alright, and we'll add in chocolate brown to the list of colors for that section. Well, this is the one we're going to be doing after the one we're starting tomorrow. So this is for episode 7, but I figured, you know, we might as well start to plan that out while we're here and when we have a few minutes. So he actually kind of comes back and adds this kind of all the way back into here. And he's got that like taupey color coming all the way back into here too. Kind of highlighting a little bit down to the water edge. Up and now okay. That was a very odd add. So then just kind of like that color mixture. Okay, we can figure that out when we get there a little more solidly. Okay, so he's gonna add some sticky dews into the trees here. And then like the highlight on them, that's fine. Oh, he changed a bush. He didn't like that bush. He thickened that boy up. Alright. Well, he really thickened that boy up, didn't he? He's like, nope, I hate you. And we're gonna just thicken you on up. I guess he just wanted to push that entire tree line back a bit further. And it looks almost like this gets filled in here too. Alright. Okay, he grabbed some yellow. It's probably a combo of yellow and sap green. Or he's just using the yellow to mix with the dark green that's already on there. So probably would end up, because if you look, the highlight color is kind of similar to this. So whoop, we can just add some light green in here with maybe some wisps of cad yellow. Okay, so this one's more of a yellow ochre. If I can find my yellow ochre color. Let's see. When is this chunk going to completely let go here? Oh, it's... Oh, there it goes. Barrel broke. Well, the outside barrel, not the inside, not the color core. I've never seen that happen before. Fascinating. Okay, so then this one's got some yellow ochre. Happening here, so we've got the light green, the mustard yellow, it's gonna go LG and then nope, that was LG2. This one's gonna be mustard yellow. You know, he's basically just going in. Oh, he's got a little bit of permanent red in there too. I don't know if I want to go quite that bold. Okay, so this is more of a light green highlight on this guy. I'm just sitting here, I'm not paying attention. I'm like, oh, when did that tree trunk show up? I'm like, yeah, he's highlighting the tree trunk. Whatever. No, dumbass, you didn't put the effing tree trunk in yet. I have to do that, and like he's got some pretty good arms coming off of him. Just kind of beef that out a little bit further. And then got some, I'm not gonna worry about the highlight on the trunk right now. Work that into there. Okay, so we got some light green happening there. Alright, so chocolate brown, light green on top of that. Alright, good. Oh, and maybe a little bit of the buttercup for the cad yellow. And then we've got some more mustard yellow, shrubbery highlights like down in here. Hard to get all the colors to really show through because the pencils are a little bit translucent on top of each other. Okay. Then down into here, he's gonna grab some white. Now, I do have a white colored pencil. It's not really gonna show through all that well, but if it shows up at all, it's not really. Just kind of making everything look a bit gray. But, I mean, this isn't really something that we have to put in right now. It'll be easier to put in with the fluff. Lights. Waterline, okay. Alright, so then this section here that I was like, oh, is this just gonna be a lighter section of beach? Nope. Why would it be that? It's gonna be our chocolate brown that we use in place of Van Dyke brown. And that's gonna get worked into there. Alright, so chocolate brown. Oh, okay. Keep watching, dumbass. Okay. We kind of take that all the way across the bottom, don't we? Okay. In true Bob fashion. Okay, and then we've got some shrubbery. And we've got some more shrubbery, and then we've got like some little grassy guys. And then there's gonna be like some soft fudge, some lighter brown sections in here. Not really redifying the area, but a little bit. And he's gonna come back in and highlight these guys. Alright, so basically sticking up some grassy dews all in, you know, sloping down, some bushy guys, like some sea grape things and stuff. We've got some yellow ochre stuff happening in here. This guy's got some yellow ochre friends, and I didn't grab that yellow. We can. There's a little bit of yellowiness happening down in here. And then there's some more light greeny things happening in here, and then, you know, there's the sticky dews here and there. So this one's pretty straightforward. So, I mean, this one will be easier to do when we get in there. But, I mean, that's the basic concept idea for that one. I know this looks like really nothing like his, but I'm just kind of trying to work out the colors in my brain and whatnot. And now that I kind of touched them once, I should remember what the hell we were doing previously. The little sticky dews, I might have to use like a really light gray, or maybe just really, really thin strands of white if we want to put all of that detail in. So, that's a really bizarre ad. We'll just pull that off the screen because that's really strange. Why are you still playing? Stop it. I said stop. Alright. So, that's all I really had time to work on. Sorry, the second one was a bit rushed. I know it was a bit rushed, but I was running out of time because I do have to go and deal with something in a little bit. I gotta make my mom dinner here, so, well, me dinner too, because we're eating the same thing tonight. But, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. But, I mean, this one will look a bit different once we actually start getting the fluff and colors in, because the colors weren't layering up really well on that one. But this is the one that we're going to start tomorrow. We're going to be starting season 3 episode 6 for the covered bridge. Now, I haven't gotten the dowel rods yet for the other piece, so when I do, we might do a finishing upstream on that one, because I haven't even started the speed felt video edit of all the live streams together on the last project yet, because we're going to be replacing my computer in a couple of weeks here, and those speed felts can take me anywhere from like 2.5 weeks to a month and a half to 2 months, and I don't want to be in progress and then have to switch systems and possibly corrupt the file and have to start all over again. So yeah, so we're just gonna wait until we get the new PC to start editing that one. But this is the one that we're gonna start tomorrow, and yeah, so you guys have a great night. Thanks for, you know, just popping in and seeing what was happening. I know it wasn't a real exciting stream today, apologize for that. Sometimes they're not super exciting, but it's still stuff that needs to get done. For those that came in late, we start around 2 p.m. now for art time. The schedule should reflect that, if I remember to change it in both places, which now I'm not sure if I did. Oh, and for those that were following along with the duo challenge zoo that the husband and I were doing, he declared me the winner last night because the file was getting really big with both of our stuff flipping back and forth between each computer system. So he declared me the winner. We're starting over where money counts this time. We're not doing full-on franchise, but it might as well be. We've got a couple, we're still in sandbox, But we've got a couple of things adjusted where we're doing power everything, so we don't have to do power stations, because that was beginning to be quite a pain in the ass. And I actually didn't even know that was an option, but you know, whatever. So we're gonna do power everything, so we don't have to do the power placement. And we're also gonna have money turned on in this version of Sandbox, but we also are gonna have to research and do all of the things that you would for franchise. So he tried to start over last night on his stream once we worked out the rules for how we're doing this, and he's gonna have to refresh my memory because I don't fucking remember. I remember some of it, but not all of it. And he started out with 500,000. I'm like, that seems kind of high.
Well, that was the default, so I figured that.
Oh, okay. And I was like, franchise doesn't start out with that much. And he goes, no, it does. And I'm like, I really don't think so.
I said I thought it does.
I said you thought it did. And I was like...
No, you said I knew it did.
And...
Punk.
Well, you were pretty confident. And the more we were going, or the more he was working on it, the more I'm sitting there, I'm like, I really don't remember having that much money when I started Mozuzumo, which was the last franchise that we had been working on. And, I still have the file, we just haven't been in there in forever. And I'm thinking, I remember really struggling with cash. Like, I remember, like, a good...
Yeah, and I realized you were right when I was getting done with everything, and I was realizing just how much I had left over. I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah, because I, like, remembered, like, your basic, like, staff building and keeper hut and your research lab and your animal marketplace and stuff costing almost half, like, a good chunk, if not more than half of what you started with, because, like, people were, like, talking about how to do it really compact and how to do it, like, on a really tight budget, and I'm like, this is way too much money. So I looked it up, and I think you start with, like, 40 or 60, I think. It might be 40. Last night while you were streaming.
Oh, I thought we just decided that we were going to go with,
No, it was either 30 or 40 that you start with in franchise, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's way too much.
So are we still starting with 100?
I think we should.
Just to make life easier for you?
Well, I mean, we can go to 60 if you really want it to be challenging.
I'm more worried about making it so it's long-term, sustainable.
Long-term...
By giving you extra money, it means you're more likely to make it to the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, long-term sustainable, it might be better to go, I would say minimum 75. 100 would be a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, I'm okay with 100.
But yeah, I think
You tend to start decorating earlier than me.
And I think 500's a little too liberal.
No, it's far too much.
Like way too hand over fist there. So yeah, so he's gonna restart again with the proper money amount. I don't know if you're doing that tonight.
I'm debating doing so.
But he might be. So be on the lookout for that. I'll tweet it if he ends up doing that later tonight. But probably won't be till like at least 8 o'clock, if not a little bit later. We'll see. But that's where things stand right now. I will see you all tomorrow to start this, to start following along with episode 6 of season 3, Joy of Painting Covered Bridge. And yeah, it should be fun. We'll figure things out. And we'll go from there. So until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope your Monday starts out well, and have a good one.